What are the risks of dynamic pawn play? Have you ever wondered what makes dynamic pawn play so exciting yet risky in chess? Let's break down the potential pitfalls that come with this strategic approach. Dynamic pawn play involves using your pawns to create tension and opportunities for attack. While this can lead to powerful positions, it also has its dangers that every player should be aware of. One major risk is the potential weakening of your own position. When you advance your pawns or initiate breaks, you might create weaknesses like isolated or backward pawns. These can become easy targets for your opponent, especially as the game progresses into the endgame. Another concern is the loss of pawn structure integrity. Dynamic moves can disrupt your pawn formation, leading to doubled or isolated pawns. If your aggressive play does not yield sufficient compensation, these weaknesses can be exploited by your opponent, making it harder to maintain a solid position. Overextension is another issue to consider. Pushing your pawns too far forward without proper support can leave them vulnerable. If your pieces are not well positioned to back them up, you may find yourself facing counterattacks that can turn the tide against you. Timing is critical in dynamic pawn play. If you misjudge when to make a pawn break or advance, you risk losing the initiative. This can allow your opponent to regroup and launch their own counteroffensive, putting you on the back foot. Additionally, creating open lines through pawn breaks can sometimes backfire. While you may intend to open up the board for your pieces, you could inadvertently provide your opponent with advantageous lines for their own pieces. This can strengthen their position rather than yours. Lastly, dynamic pawn structures can lead to unfavorable endgames. If the aggressive pawn moves do not translate into a clear advantage during the middle game, you might find yourself in a worse endgame due to the structural weaknesses you created earlier. In practice, dynamic pawn play is often used to challenge an opponent's pawn fortress or to contest key squares. However, it requires careful planning and calculation. Balancing the potential gains against the risks of long-term weaknesses is essential. Understanding the nature of pawn tension and the possible outcomes of your moves can help you avoid costly mistakes. Dynamic pawn play can be a thrilling aspect of chess, but it comes with its own set of challenges. By being aware of these risks, you can make more informed decisions on the board and improve your overall game.